Welcome! Today I'm creating an expressive portrait in oil glazes. It's quite moody and dark. It's done in time-lapse. The board, which is an MDF board, is primed with one layer of white gesso or gesso, however you want to say it. The image is drawn onto the board, and I'm now working onto the background with just a very quick layer of Paynes grey acrylic, and then working into the image with watercolours. Watercolours are being used quite loosely, layered up. They do move around quite a bit on the surface, but I quite like that loose effect. I'm now working into the image with Quink ink, blue-black Quink ink, which is a Parker pen ink, using a glass nibbed pen. Just basically outlining, putting some extra dark parts in. You'll notice in this painting it's quite a lot of layering, letting the image dry in between. Now using more Quink ink, but also the purple in the hair is acrylic ink. Now there was more watercolour layering and dry that off. Once that's dry, I've worked into it with a water spray. And once that's completely dry, I'm now layering with oil paint. So the watercolour and everything is completely dry, but I'm now building up with oil paint glazes. So I make my own glaze, and that is 5 parts Pure Turpentine, 5 parts Yatch Varnish, and 1 part Sikativ. And then I use that, just mixing very, very light oil paints into that to create the glazed layers. And that was fully dry. We're now onto another layer of glazing. So the same mixture again, just with a little bit more of the oil paint in each time. The light was quite bright on this one, so you may lose a little bit of the image. So this is just the last glaze layering going on, before it was left to dry for around about an hour, but the last layer definitely wasn't completely dry. I'm now using a drip glaze, which is the same glaze medium as I was using before, but it's actually mixed in with a little bit of oil paint. So it's a little tiny bit of Prussian blue and a little tiny bit of Falvo green, I can't say what that is, tiny bit mixed in, so that the glaze is very, very transparent but does have that blue-green tinge to it. So you can see there the Sikativ that I use, that's a drying agent, so it does make the oil paint dry a lot faster. Pure Turpentine, not Turp Substitute, don't use Turp Substitute in it. And then just Yatch Varnish, everyday Yatch Varnish. It's really, really great, especially if you're putting a little bit of oil paint colour into it. If you're using Yatch Varnish on its own, it can yellow slightly over time. But with the oil paint colours in it, it doesn't do that. So I'm just using a pipette and a brush to apply the drip glaze. Now remember that last layer of glaze paint is still slightly wet. That's not the normal way to do it. You're supposed to leave it 6 weeks before you varnish. 6 months even before you varnish. I've said before in previous videos, I don't like rules. I love the way that the paint drags with the paintbrush when I'm glazing this. So you're adding the layer of colour in the glaze, but you're also manipulating the image underneath, so you're getting that drag happening with those paint layers. And remember that the paint that I've used is very thin, just that very thin glaze, so you're hardly getting any movement. You're still seeing that underpainting through this image, and I'm applying a lot of glaze. I'm not just applying a nice neat layer. I want this to drip, I want this to move, so I've got it on an angle slightly at the moment so that it will drip down. It won't pool because it's not flat, but I will lift it slightly as well later on, which you'll see happen. So there you go. I'll let you enjoy the rest of the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, and please subscribe if you like the videos. Thanks.